Hey everybody, it's Ellie, and today we're gonna record the third episode of Behind the Dancer, and we're gonna talk with HAYWYRE.
What's up, you guys? What's up? What's up? Hi, HAYWYRE. How's it going, Ellie?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm fantastic. I'm happy to be here. Like, honestly, anytime I get to talk dance, anytime I get to connect in a way about dance that isn't just on the floor is always good.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, and it's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. Very real. Very real.
Setup is amazing.
Yeah,
I love it.
very nice. Very nice. Got a nice sunset going.
Yeah.
This is peak content. This is really outside. We're not in the studio.
What is something positive that happened to you today?
Something positive that happened to me today. Honestly, I feel like every day that I get to be creative, every day that I get to actually, live, I didn't have to work today, so I got to really just be outside and ended up getting a haircut, ended up running some errands. So it was really cool to just be able to take care of what I needed to freely.
Yeah.
And I don't take it for granted. I woke up, there are some people that didn't today, there are some people that woke up in a worse state than they were yesterday. Yeah. And the fact that I'm still able to use my body, the fact that I still have the mind to create is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's yeah. What about you? What's something amazing that happened to you today?
I think I got a lot of inspiration today.
Hey.
Talking with people, and now I see my future.
Yeah, hey, come on now.
A lot of inspiration, yeah.
Love that.
For the people that don't know you, do you want to introduce yourself shortly?
For sure. So my name is TJ Hale, aka HAYWYRE. I'm 27 years old. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. My primary dance style is animation. I've been training in hip hop a lot lately, but animation, tutting is always gonna have my heart. I started dancing in, I want to say 2012. I was 14 years old, and yeah, look, I just fallen in love with dance. I feel like everybody either falls in love with dance through seeing it on YouTube, or at least my age, that when they start dancing, they either were born dancing, they see it on YouTube, or they get inspired by something. And in my case, it was a movie. It was one of the Step Up movies with the dance crews and stuff. And it was that was something that really kind of opened up a whole new world that I hadn't known. And so I've been dancing for about almost 14 years now, almost 10 years seriously, as far as pursuing a career in it. As of late, I think around 2022, I started dabbling into making clothes and really kind of trying to blend the worlds of fashion and dance together. I feel like there's not really a lot of that happening, and I feel like there's a very big missed market with that. And I feel like there's a lot of misrepresentation of the culture in that way. And I think that it's going to be important to really be able to tell stories. And I think that for a dancer to be able to help to tell dance stories in fashion is going to be really important. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to go all the way into it, in a minute.
Do you remember when you started dancing, a core memory that you remember when you started?
I remember this like it was yesterday. So, and this is going to be a very long-winded story. Before I could dance at all, I couldn't clap on beat. It was really bad. I would watch people in Chicago. There was this dance style, Chicago footwork. It was really big, and if you couldn't do Chicago footwork, if you couldn't Dougie, if you couldn't the main hip hop party dances, if you couldn't do those, then it was you were just a bystander at the party. And as a result, I was always the guy that gave a lot of energy because I couldn't do it. So one day, I'm in 8th grade, and the teacher didn't feel like teaching. So he offered to put on a movie, and he gave us two options. He gave us Step Up 3, which nobody knew what that was, or Avatar with the blue people. Yeah. This is when Avatar just came out on DVD. Everybody was geeked. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna put Avatar on. Through some type of divine intention, the movie, this is back when DVDs were a thing, so the DVD started skipping. And
so you watched Step Up instead.
And so he was like, I guess we gotta watch Step Up. This is the third one, mind you, so I'm like, oh, I'm not with the plot, I don't understand what's going on. But when he put that movie on, I got introduced to what dance could be. If you watch the first, I want to say 30 minutes of Step Up, 45 minutes of Step Up 3, it'll give you a bit of everything. It'll give you a bit of choreography, it'll give you a bit of freestyle, it'll give you a bit of battling, it'll give you a bit of that over-the-top production of dance. My jaw was on the floor the entire time. And so I remember I wanted to learn how to do it, but I just couldn't. I did not know how to do it at all. again, another divine moment. We watched that on a Friday. The next following Monday, these two South African twins transferred to our school. Everybody was bullying them. Nobody knew who they were. They were kind of like the outcasts, and so were me and my friends. So we were like, hey, the school dances this Friday. Do you guys want to come with us? And they're like, sure. And you know, I love South African culture because everything that they say feels so like intentional and epic. Like we asked them, did they want to come? And they looked at each other and they're like, we will go. And it's like, all right, cool, let's do it. So we go to the dance, and this is prime 2012. So like tail end of 8th grade, Lil Wayne was at the height of his, you know, at the height of everything that he was doing. So I distinctly remember we were all sitting on the wall, 5 of us, and this Lil Wayne song came on. They looked at each other, they shared a look, and then they said, we'll be right back, and started beelining for the middle of the gym. And so we're like, what are they about to do? Like so we're watching them, and they proceed to pull out the craziest choreographed crump routine I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
It was like real crump. Like it was like, that was my first time I ever witnessed real crump. Not you know, just the flailing, moving, the Chris Brown version, but like actual intentional crump, jabs, language, like bangs. Like I didn't know any of what they were doing at the time. And then they went from crump to popping, and then they went from popping to like finger tutting, and I was like, what the hell is happening? And like Step Up was playing right before my eyes. Everybody, like, you know, after the song went off, everybody ran up to him and rushed him, and I'm ripping through the crowd, I'm moving people, and I grabbed them. I said, y'all have to teach me how to do that. And they were like, we start tomorrow. And yeah, they were like, we start to, it was I couldn't sleep that night. I was like, oh my, I'm like looking on YouTube trying to find like, you know, crump videos, and you know, at the time, like I couldn't really get into it because they didn't look the way it looked in front of me at the gym. But when they kind of explained how to use the videos, the next couple of days, they were just training me. Tail into that week, after they taught me how to do the wave in one way and not out the other, I couldn't do the other arm. As they taught me how to do the wave and a little finger tut, they said, we heard Americans like rappers, so we're no longer dancers, we're about to start rapping. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to learn how to dance? And they said, if you really love it, you'll find a way.
Wow. But they were the same age as
They were the same age as me. Same age. So like these like fucking 14-year-old twins are like really proverbial, and they're like, if you love it, you'll find a way. And they just leave me with it. And that origin story has stuck with me throughout like everything I do. And every single time I like kind of get down, or every single time I'm like kind of like feeling a way about my growth or stagnant, I always think back to that moment and all that whole feeling within the span of a week. It was crazy.
Are you still in contact with them?
No. So after high school, like towards the tail end, like I always tell people, like high school helps you figure out who you want to be, and then college helps you figure out who you really are. In high school, they just realized, like, I think they were riding that high of everybody running up to them and being like, oh my God, this was so cool. After a while, they were just like, no, we really want to rap. I think towards the tail end of the school year, they like were just like, yo, like I think they moved to New York. And I don't know where they are now. I don't know what they're doing now.
That would be interesting.
It'd be really interesting. It'd be really interesting. Like, you know, I have a knack for these things, so like running into people from my past. My very first dance battle was against this kid named Cole. They put us against each other because we were both 12 at the time, 13 at the time. And we battled, and I was like, I'm gonna be the best dancer. He's like, I'm gonna be the best dancer. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll see you at the top. And I remember going to an Adidas event in Chicago, I wanna say like in 2018. And there was this kid dancing, and the way he was dancing, I was like, wait a minute. And I ran over to him and I was like, Cole? He's like, TJ?
Wow.
And like, it was such a crazy, it was so cool to see like these like growing like adults and these teenagers go right back to when they were 13 and go, oh my God, and kind of have this like, this really like energetic moment. And I that wouldn't be like, I thank dance for that. Dance really did that. If it wasn't,
it's beautiful.
You know, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing for sure. But yeah, like those are some memories that like just kind of follow me.
Yeah, like, I think also like what I love about dance is meeting people. You just meet people through dance.
Yeah.
And then you meet them again years later.
Dance, to me, dance is kind of like the internet of the world, like in people. If you know a dancer, you know so many people. You know this dancer, now you know 5 influencers, you know 12 DJs, you know 15 rappers, you know, and it's so cool because you don't just know them, but like dancers are the only people I know that will be like, you know, you'll go to a class with them, you'll go eat with them, and the next thing you know, you're like in New York battling or something, and you guys are sharing an Airbnb. Like that, like there's no other, I think, like, I mean, obviously I'm not a DJ or anything, so I know, like, I'm pretty sure there's other connections like that, but to me, dance is one of the only things that connects people like that.
Yeah, the community is really nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing when it works.
Yeah.
It is amazing when it works.
Definitely.
Yeah,
you have to find your people, the right people.
For sure. That's a very interesting one. It's like, that's a very interesting thing about finding your people. I think finding your people is like very imperative, because I think I was just talking to a friend of mine about like the rapid change of dance in the eyes of somebody when they start versus like when they're like in the thick of it. Like, you know, you'll get into it, and for the first like 3-4 years, it's crazy. You're enamored by everything that's happening. You're open to talking to everyone. It's this big thing, and then like, you know, you kind of change your course. And some people like kind of get into it because they want to be the best at what they do. Some people want to get into it because they just want to live in the culture forever. Some people want to get into it because they want to make money from it. And finding your people really does help keep that, you know, journey alive. Yeah. Because if you get mixed in with the wrong people, where you're doing it for the culture, but then you're surrounded by people who do it for the money, it can rapidly slow how you feel about, you know, your journey. Yeah, definitely.
What was your reason to come out here to LA? Or when did you come to LA?
I came to LA in November of 2025, so I've literally only been here for like 6 months.
Recently?
Yeah, super recent. And what made me come to LA? Truthfully, I was out here a little late. I was supposed to be out here. I feel like I was supposed to be out here earlier. What really made me show up though was the fact that this was the mecca of dance. Like I said, in 2022, I had this like vision that like dancers. I walked into like a Foot Locker and I was looking for new shoes to dance in, and I kind of have these moments where I kind of just gotta sit in like a thought that I'm having, and I like looked around the Foot Locker and I'm like, okay, there's shoes for basketball, running, football, skateboarding. There's work boots here. There's cleats. There's everything except for dancers. Like there's no dance shoe, and I'm like, all right, cool. What does a dance shoe look like? And I'm thinking to this myself. And then I'm like, well, a dance shoe is anything, but then I'm thinking there's no dance collaborations. And you can find collaborations with, again, those basketball players, those skaters, but like you can't find those with dance in mind. And that made me think, well, maybe that's just because we're not connected. Like the two worlds are apart. And when I look at dancers, like a lot of what I was buying when I finally got money was modeled after my favorite dancers. Like I was buying the shoes because I thought they'd make me dance better. I thought they, you know, since 2022, I've been kind of working on like kind of bridging the gap between dance and fashion. Yeah. And Chicago was a really great place, but I felt like Chicago is one of those places where they gotta see it work before they hop on. You know, it's like I was always able to see the meta of dance in Chicago. Like if Crump was cracking in LA, then Crump kind of made its way to like Chicago in like a big way, meaning like more people were learning how to crump. Like there was always crump there, but like you saw more people learning how to crump, more people took an interest in the culture. Hip hop blew up, and now everybody wants to learn hip hop, and everybody wants. So I was learning like fashion. If I want people to kind of really like latch on to the idea of dance and fashion being together, I've got to go where the other dancers are and like kind of show them that it is hot before they hop on. That, and also like Chicago is great, but there's just not that many opportunities, and you'll find like in LA there's always something going on. Every brand, every company is doing something, and so I wanted to be in the middle of the action. And it just so happened that my lease was up. So it was like, all right, cool. Do I do another year of saying, I'm going to go to LA one day? Or do I pack my entire car and just go? And so I just packed my entire car and I left and didn't know what it was going to hold. Definitely, it was hard. It was hard for the first couple of months. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I came out here with definitely not enough money. I came out here definitely with not enough of a plan. My relationship with dance was already really weird because it's like, you know, you're trying to do something multifaceted. So like the whole time I was driving here, it was like, oh shit, what did I get myself into? But I just kind of knew that if it wasn't meant for me to go, there would have been a million roadblocks in the way, you know? So it's kind of...
What would you say is something you learned about that situation, like just going?
Just going? What did I learn about just going? There's never a perfect time. I think that waiting or like second guessing yourself, you know, figuring out when the right time is will prevent you from ever starting. I had a friend of mine, he was supposed to move here with me, and we were preparing, and I lost my job in Chicago in the middle of like being on the way like to get here. So I was thinking like, all right, cool. He just wasn't making enough money at his job as it was. So whereas like I lost my job and was like, this is life shedding all ties to the city so that way I can move straight forward. He's like, I'm not making enough money. This is telling me that I shouldn't be going at all. And I will say that like, you know, that mindset of like pushing you ever forward, it's something that gives you like, you're gonna have peace of mind later. You know, like I always think I would hate to be 40 and see dancers living their life.
Yeah, and you didn't do it.
And I was, and you know, meanwhile, I'm exactly where I stayed at, and I'm like, man, I didn't even jump.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like imagine if somebody gave you the opportunity to roll some dice or flip a coin for $1 million, and you lose nothing. You lose nothing. He just says flip a coin for $1 million, and you say no, and you just walk off. You missed 50% of a chance to make $1 million.
Yeah.
And just by saying, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm cool off that. And like, I would hate to be the guy that like does that, walks off, and then watches the next guy flip the coin and win the $1 million. Cause then I'm thinking like, damn, like that could have been me. That guy, like, you know, and so many things have happened like that kind of show me that this is the right way, and the universe will give you signs to just go. So I would say like, I learned listen to the universe, and I learned that there's no perfect time.
Yeah. So
you can't wait for it because you're waiting for something that won't come.
When you dance, do you think more technically or emotionally, or what's going on in your mind? Because when I see you dancing, I think you have like a lot of structure and shapes in it.
Yeah. My favorite thing to do is to blend emotion and like animations. Like I'm very imaginative when I move. I don't think very structurally, which is probably why like when everybody's like, all right, cool, do this specific thing, like it kind of makes me go, ugh, because like I'm like, I'm like, you know, it's like the whole manual breathing thing where like now when somebody points out your breathing, you're like, wait, I am. Like it kind of makes you feel like that. I prefer, or what I usually do is I have this like imagination in my head that I'm like building something, and like that's when it's most fun to me.
Yeah.
When you get to become something different. So I'm not necessarily super structural. No, I don't think more structurally as much as I think more like conceptually.
Yeah.
I'm very conceptual. That's kind of how I learned to dance. Like because I learned through watching people through video. A lot of like the stuff that I was watching was very like, oh, wait a second, like, you know, like I'll kind of notice like one of my favorite dancers when I was growing up, he would tut and he would lift his leg, then he would stop and look and push it down, and then tut and stop and like lift his leg and then tut and push it down, and then he would tut, and it was like, why is he doing that? And what made it look so cool was the fact that like it was so conceptual. It was the fact that this is the dance portion, but the lifting the leg is the concept. And when you look at it, he's not doing anything that's like crazy, but it's like playing around with your perception and your thought. That's so cool to me. So like anytime I was learning how to dance, I would always think like if I'm doing something, it can't just be like, you know, you can't just be, you know, waving. You can do a wave, but if you like wave around your arm and then snap and then have that wave go, it's like you're giving it a cause and effect in a way. And that's kind of what I fell in love with. So I'm very conceptual in my movement, I would say. Like very less calculated. I'm trying to become more calculated within my movement. I think that there's power in calculation and quick processing. Because because I think that those are the moments where you get the crazy battle clips and shit. Those are the moments where you get the really crazy, like, you know, cipher booms, and where you kind of like build and structure the perfect round. Is when you have that like concise thought, and then you're able to let your feeling and your vibe take over. But I've always been conceptual. That's why I'm like way better at like videos and stuff than I am like in battle situations.
I'm also, when I'm freestyle, I'm more conceptual dancer. So when I'm dancing, I see the things or opportunities that I have, or I see like the shapes. I always need like a shape to understand the movement.
To understand the movement, like to me, some of my worst rounds are like the reason why it's been so hard for me within hip hop to like learn it is because it's like they're like, don't set it up, feel, be free, and it's like. To be honest, it's like it feels anti like what I want to do, and so like the moment like I'm like, all right, cool, like, and like somebody's like, all right, cool, start an animation round versus a hip hop round, like I always feel like my balancing is just like, all right, cool, I'm going through the motions, I'm doing what I got to do, versus like when, you know, I get to start animating, like I have to reach around and like pull and like do really crazy cool stuff that like you don't see anybody else doing, and I get to bring you into my world rather than like, I get to bring you into my house rather than sharing the communal space all the time, you know? So yeah, that's why I love it personally.
If you would have the opportunity to have your younger self in front of you, what would you tell him?
Oot, so many things. Don't listen to people. Don't listen to people at all. People call me a biter, so like, again, I'm a kid that started dancing in the YouTube era, so like I was just doing what I would see, and like I was just like picking different moves from different people and just kind of like compounding it, because when I learned how to dance, it was a lot of like doing the Dougie. You saw people do the Dougie, and it's like you learned how to Dougie so you could do it too. When I would dance in these spaces, I would immediately, as like a 15, 16-year-old kid, you know, 14-year-old kid, I'd be dancing in the middle of these ciphers, and you just get these like grown-ass men just being like, and I'm like, I didn't know what that meant at the time. So I was like, oh shit, like I thought that was like one of these. So it's like, oh, you're fired. Like that really kind of for a moment diminished a lot of like what I did. But what's really cool is if I didn't deal with people calling me a biter, I wouldn't have met the guy that they were even saying I was biting off of, and like gotten to learn certain things. So like I would definitely tell them like, don't listen to people. I would definitely tell them like, start early. If you see people like, you know, if you want to do dance videos, do dance videos. Post them online, just do it, you know, do what you feel. As far as dance goes, I would tell him like, you're so much better than you're gonna be so much better than you know. Like I definitely think that if I would have took off those weights when I was a kid, it would have skyrocketed me. And I think that Chicago, what's crazy is like you're never gonna have those people that really tell you like, no, you're gonna be great one day. Like you don't really have that, because you know, you're surrounded. The crazy thing about dances is you're surrounded by your peers who are simultaneously your competition. So like, I never really had anybody telling me like, no, you're gonna be the greatest in the world someday. And I think that like, when you look at everybody great, somebody told them that. And like, I think that like, I would have just definitely poetically been that for myself, both having my younger self in front of me, but also like thinking back, if I would have just thought like, you're gonna be the greatest someday, just keep pushing, things would be crazy. But also like, just stay your course. Like I love where I am and how far I've come right now, the way I understand art and stuff like at this moment. So yeah, like, you know, nothing I would really change, but just more so like those little nuggets of advice that could help me get better, you know? Like that's always a really interesting question. It's always a really hard question. Because you know, that you can tell by the way people answer that question where they are as far as their career. You know, you can really tell like if they really feel like they could have been in a better spot, if they could have been like, you know, it's a really weird question. So it's hard, you know, you want to try to answer that while also being very appreciative of where you are now, you know?
I want you to tell the people what you're doing with your design, because you told me already, and I think it's super nice. Tell them.
So I started a brand. So you know, in 2022 when I tried to marry that dance and fashion, I started an event called Just for Kicks. And the whole idea was that I literally just wanted dancers to get their own shoes. And I started by like making all the prizes sneaker themed. I like had awards not only for like dance related stuff, Cypher King and Queen, prizes for like best dressed, most expensive sneakers, rarest sneakers, and I kind of needed merch for like the brand, like, you know, the event. Eventually, I just kind of realized through like trying to create merch for the event, when I studied other merch, it was made more so to be memorabilia, and it was made more so for like quick sales, and it wasn't really made with the same intention or care and consideration as fashion is concerned. In the sense of like, if I were to buy a t-shirt from a battle, it would often just be the name of the battle, and it'd be like on a Gildan tee. And I wanted to create something that I noticed, like, if you bought merch at a concert, you'd buy that merch, but then you wear that merch out and you wear it to the next concert, and then you work it into an outfit, and it became a vintage tee, and then it became this thing. So I wanted to kind of create something like that, and I started, you know, creating clothes with the idea of being essentially the dancer supreme. Something that can bleed into pop culture, something that can reach and tell the stories of dancers, but having regular people wear it out, so that simultaneously dancers can kind of get that. I wanted it to kind of be this moment of like, if a dancer saw somebody wearing the brand, that would be their reminder, like, to keep going. People are understanding, people get it, people love the culture, and that if you by proxy, they're gonna love you as long as you live and eat and breathe the culture. At the same time, I also wanted to make something that people would just think it's cool, but the whole time you don't even know you're supporting like such a big culture, that money is going and flowing right back into the ecosystem. And so I changed the name in 2025 from Just for Kicks to Just Freestyle Culture. I got to keep the JFK. It literally is just freestyle culture. That name just kind of signifies it's nothing special. And at the same time, it's everything special. It's not, we're not doing any super crazy stuff. We're not doing a lot of like endorsements. This is literally just freestyle culture that we're building and putting on t-shirts. It's a merch for a movement. And at the same time, it's merch for a movement. It's a deeper thing. And so, yeah, that has become such a journey, because you're slowly starting to figure out how hard it is to permeate another space. Like, there always needs to be that one thing where dance does that permeates a space. Dancers were kind of like, dancers were on television, but they were always accompanying singers, songwriters, whatever. And then like stuff like Soul Train came out, where you got to just watch people enjoy, and you got to have it on and listen to the music and kind of partake and be a part of that like energy. That was something that was like different. And I think that like I wanted to, like, I'm still trying to figure out how to make clothes. That's like the clothing idea of Soul Train, the clothing idea of being able to be involved with that. We're working on some stuff for a fashion show where like we're tapping into different facets and stories and sides of dance that are not really thought about, and kind of flipping them. So, and we did something like this before. For instance, I did my last event in Chicago. I wanted to flip dance battles and the idea of a kill-off, so to speak, with a crime scene. So I shot this whole teaser where it's just slow pan in, and it's this dancer just kind of sitting amongst the crime scene. The judges' chairs are flipped over. There's like evidence markers near the DJ booth, near where the other dancer was standing. There's a chalk outline. It's kind of like, I wanted to kind of create this idea of what a kill-off means, and to kind of build something bigger onto it. And like, that was something super cool that nobody really thought about it that way. So now we're focusing on dance battles and kind of like moving it into war, and kind of like how battles are 45-second warfare, and about how like dancers are like, like war, two opposing sides that really feel like they're the best. And just trying to survive the round.
Can people watch that, or where can people find that?
For the little trailer thing, the thing that I did, that should be on the page. So it's on JFK_Chi, like for Chicago, JFK_CHI on Instagram, and it's like one of the ads that I have that's up. But it's like, it's really cool because you can just kind of see like, it's a super rudimentary version of like what I want to start to create, but it kind of goes into like those campaigns. I really got inspired by like those older basketball campaigns, those things that you know, you kind of saw and felt this emotion from it. I was really inspired by this. You'll watch it and it's like got this very long monologue, and it's like, you know, it's talking about like, you know, how a kill off is where, you know, it's a statement. It's where, like, you know, it's evidence in the face of speculation. You know, I was really inspired by this Michael Jordan campaign where he was saying, I'm afraid of what I won't become. You're afraid of what I will become. And like, that's such a powerful statement. That tied people to the shoes. It's that attitude and that energy. And like having stuff like that for dancers, we don't have anything like that. And I think that that's something that like is really, really needed. And it's really cool because it's like, I know for a fact this is something that is gonna explode and it's gonna like change the game. It's like, I feel like a Lamborghini with no gas in it. Like I feel like, you know, I'm in a Lamborghini and I gotta get out and I gotta walk miles to this gas station and I gotta pay an exorbitant, stupid amount of money for this premium gas. But when I get back to that car, and when I'm finally able to drive it forward, it's gonna go so fast. These brands, like, ultimately, this clothing isn't even my final, like, this isn't my final stop. What I really want to do is I really want to, like, you know, years down the line, hopefully when I'm like, you know, 34, 35, and like I'm still in the culture, I want to make it so that I'm like head of Nike Dance or Adidas Dance or, you know, like one of these sports brands as a representative of dance and like kind of the creative director of that branch, and ultimately creating a whole new avenue for dancers to get paid. Like I want dancers to eventually be getting signed like athletes. Like, you know, I would love for it to be a thing where a dancer can feel empowered going into a battle fully dripped out and like fully sponsored by Nike. You know, $20,000 a year in passive income, just kind of wearing Nike and dancing and making sure they show up to events. Like that's something that I want to be able to do while also simultaneously making these really crazy campaigns and like not missing opportunities and doing our culture right. That's just my way of like lending to the culture in a way where I think like culture has enough, we have enough like heroes. We have enough, and we're always gonna have heroes. But what we don't have is people that are changing the landscape of dance as we know it. Whoever came up with Step Up changed the landscape of dance as we knew it. It wasn't about Bring It On. People didn't think Crump was some girl going, It's like now this bigger thing. There's a world to it. Crews, you understand what a crew is. You understand what a battle means, and like when you're battling for respect, what that really feels like. Like, you know, and I wanna leave my stamp on history like that. So I talked so much. I'm so sorry, but like, hopefully that's, you know, hopefully we could clip some of that stuff and just make it like, you know, a lot shorter. But like, I feel really.
I think it's also such an important part from the culture is like you take from the culture, but it's also important to give it back. And the way you described it is that you want to give it back for the culture.
It belongs to the culture. This brand isn't for me. Like, I'm not making a shit ton of money from it. And like, if you ever want to make a lot of money, do not go into fashion. Like fashion, there is 2 holes in your pockets and your pants are on fire. It's like, it is not a lucrative at all, but it's so fun. And it's so cool to see, you know, like it warms my heart when the culture puts my shirt on and goes, this quality is crazy. Whoa, like, and they feel it, and it's like, yeah, that feels to me like I know you're gonna wear this when you're out with your homies. Like that feels great to me. So yeah, it's the cultures. This is the cultures brand. I'm just merely trying to like build. It's almost like a studio. A fashion house, a fashion studio, if you will. Like, and I know that, you know, eventually if this ever were to become a brand that's like a main fashion house, like I had such a dream yesterday and I can't unsee it now. Like, I would love to have a store, other brands that dancers that are like long-standing dance brands, Carhartt, Stussy, like Nike, having these brands that like really kind of like hold near and dear to dance, but like it's kind of like this, if you can see it in a square, I love the middle to be like this like 8-person dance studio. where as you're shopping at any given time, you can see people sessioning, ciphering. You can see the culture at the heart of the store. Imagine how crazy you would feel if you walked in and saw the wildest crump session going on in the middle of a store.
Yeah.
Even and like dancers, like I know like dancers are kind of those people who like we'll buy like we buy the old reliables. We buy the 1 or 2 pieces that's like, all right, like, you know, this is a shirt, these are the pants that I can dance in. They stretch, so I'm gonna dance in these all the time. But like that'll be a place that I'll be all the time.
Yeah.
That'll be a place where I'm just like, yo, I gotta buy something from here because like this needs to stay open. It's for the culture. So yeah, I really just want to give back to the culture that pulled me in so heavily.
Nice.
Like, you know, without it, I wouldn't have met you. Without these clothes, without these things that I would have loved, I wouldn't. Think about how much that like. How many things had to happen right in order for me to be anywhere near you?
Yeah.
All the way back to when both you and I first started dancing.
Yeah, and now we're sitting here.
And now we're sitting here on a bench in Los Angeles talking about dance.
Nice.
That we planned from talking in somebody's house that we also met through dance.
Yeah.
There's so many things that had to happen.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful when you think about the trajectory of like how all that had to play out. That's
true. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you
Really
guys.
appreciate it.
Yeah.